like your existing financial system is very difficult to secure. If you can set up, I don't know, 26 different nodes in a distributed system to like run your country's ledger, that's a good idea. So I'm much more bullish on the tech. Essentially, I'm bullish for the wrong reasons. I'm bullish because I think the world is going to shit.
I just wanted to let you know, jail's not that bad. It's
All views expressed by the hosts and guests in this podcast are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of their respective employers. Guests and hosts may maintain positions in the assets discussed in this podcast. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and nothing in the podcast is intended to be financial, legal, or even live advice.
We are live and live.
Amazing.
We are on all front, on YouTube, on Lambro's Twitter, it's great that we have like Adrian here from Anoma. Maybe before we jump right into any questions, really, I just want to have the first couple of minutes just to sort of chit chat. I will throw you like a very softball. How are you feeling given the price action?
Yeah, I mean, so in the past, everyone was like, oh, we're definitely in the bear market. Bitcoin is at 85K. And I was like, you people are all out of your mind. Bitcoin is at 85K. I mean, we're cooking here.
Right.
Because like to me, I mean, I still remember Bitcoin probably at around $1,000 or something like that. So I mean, the ride is still wild, right? I mean, I think I bought the first ETH possibly at like around $1 or like $2 or $3, something like this.
Oh wait, like we now, okay, now that you mentioned that, we absolutely have to jump into that. I think before we talked about what you're currently working on, if you can share a bit more about your journey. I mean, like from like $1. I mean, like in this day and age, I feel like we encountered a lot of people from the 2017 class sometimes, but like even before that is a fascinating story. So yeah, who are you and like what's your story, man? Yeah.
So I got into crypto in like 2016 because I was writing my grad thesis on censorship-resistant e-voting. This was during the time of the Catalan independence referenda, Arab Spring, and so on. And I essentially figured, you know, like any sort of population that can do coordinated voting without the central government's ability to disrupt it can essentially like dictate policy as much as they want. And at the time, there was only really Ethereum out there, and so I built it on Ethereum. And this led to this interesting thing that like I was doing my grad studies in Denmark, and they have this traditional Friday bar. So every Friday there's a bar in the university, and so I'd get people to buy me beer, and I'd just send them some ETH. So I onboarded a ton of people into Trust Wallet, which is still my favorite wallet to this day as a result. Because I just kept going like, yeah, just install this thing. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. I'll send you some ETH. That's cool.
Wow.
And yes, so I onboarded quite a few people into ETH at the time. And like in Copenhagen, we also had a bunch of the early core devs from Ethereum hosting meetups. So I got into crypto on the premise of like, you go to a meetup and the first thing you do is you install a full Ethereum on your machine. And then you start with some Solidity. Like you essentially like install the node, then you talk for 15 minutes while the node syncs, and then you deploy a smart contract directly to Ethereum. Yeah, and then I joined Tendermint, Cosmos as a third core dev in early 2017. I've been building in the sovereign interoperability ZK stack ever since. I mean, like, I find I'm not here for the meme coins or the gambling. I'm here for like self-sovereign coordination infrastructure. Because I'm really worried about World War III.
But yeah.
I'm really here for World War III. Which is like, my basic thesis was the financial system is going to collapse. There's no way to defend like the existing financial system against nation state attacks at scale. They're going to come after satellites and fiber cables. And God, when shit hits the fan, I want to have some like local infrastructure that I can run over local area networking to allow essentially sovereign coordination for individual communities. Yeah.
Even though I'm not a political podcast, I will definitely see that with how things are in the past couple of months, not even years. Your thesis seems to be going in the right direction. But,
I'm not super thrilled about it, I've got to admit, man. Like, you know, everyone like, oh, like the US dollar is about to collapse. I'm like, yeah, and this will suck. like badly.
Oh, wow, but you were saying, like, like, it's funny when you mentioned that that's how Meetup used to be. You just come in, like, help set up a node and so on. Sounds much more fun than meetups right now, where you're being asked like the same questions like at 6 different side events at the conference.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I mean, in the past, like, everyone really just had to run the software. There wasn't a problem like, oh, like, I don't want to host a full node, or we didn't have Alchemy. Like, if you didn't have a full node, you were cooked.
You're cooked.
So I would encourage everyone to gotta run your infrastructure, especially now. I mean, we were kind of early, the crypto people, to like this local infrastructure stuff, and then the crypto people kind of gave up. But God, with local AI, I mean, I just invested a ton of money into a GPU cluster at home, a Mac Studio cluster at home, for local AI inference. Like,
we should do a no, because you mentioned that there should be like a guide on like how to use like local AI if you hold like hot wallets or something like that. But I think that's for your personal content idea right there. Yeah, because
my
like,
agents will be working on it.
I saw that running joke of like, oh, like crypto people, like they don't want to like like open Zoom links, but when like Cloudbot first open up, okay, I'm gonna download it. So it's like,
yeah,
it's pretty funny. Anyway, okay. Taking a step back a bit. So you were working on Cosmos and have always been on like Sovereign Chain. What's the journey until your current company, and like what are you currently working on?
Yeah, so I was always in Cosmos, like did a bunch of things in Polkadot, did a bunch of things in Ethereum. Always under a thesis, I'm not convinced that we're going to have a single chain to rule them all. There's going to be like thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of chains. This has mostly played out. I mean, like we now named them L2s, or like L3s, whatever. But essentially it's like sovereign coordination infrastructure. So that really played out this way. And so, but in the middle of, then I also ended up building one of the biggest validators at the time. And one of the very first validators when validation was cool in like 2018. I scaled that, sold the company, then did a bunch of just like core protocol development also on Tezos. And then later on in the middle of 2020, I sat down and was like, okay, what the fuck are we doing here? Because like, I mean, nowadays people think we're nihilistic, but like even in 2020, it was very like nihilistic in my opinion. Because in the middle of 2020, it was like, we all copied the same 3 smart contracts to yet another EVM clone, or like, this is the future of finance, this is totally going to be changing the world. I'm like, I don't know. This seems very suspect.
I only missed the APY. But yeah.
Exactly. Everyone's like, yeah, yield farming. It's like, do you know where the yield is coming from? No. Yeah, you are the yield. And so the thing we identified in 2020 was like, there were 3 core areas, which is one of them was users didn't have transactions, and they still don't have transactions. They have intents. They have like these partial state transitions that they need to coordinate with, essentially. Like I would like to buy some ETH or some Bitcoin. Someone else fill the other side of it, please. So that's the first core insight. The second core insight was we'd need heterogeneous systems. Like essentially, like individual governments would run their own systems. Individual chains would exist. Individual communities would exist, and one of the core problems then was how do you do counterparty discovery? So say I now have some ETH and I would like some Bitcoin. How do I find the counterparty? And like Hayden's Uniswap idea was like the poor man's counter discovery protocol, which is like, you know what? Let's not worry about the hard problem. Let's just go, we all meet in the middle in the smart contract on Ethereum. And then the third insight was like, we fundamentally need ZKPs. Like we need privacy at scale. Without privacy, we're all cooked. Because I always figured that the biggest risk to blockchains and to Ethereum was that world finance would move onto Ethereum tomorrow. Like if world finance moves onto Ethereum at N+1, at N+2 the NSA will go, it's a bad idea that we're leaking all our financial data to China. And like we'll just shut down Ethereum. So like from a like simple like nation state defense model, you needed all of these things. You needed decentralized self-sovereign coordination systems, you need good privacy guarantees for community and national defense, and you fundamentally you structured this around with intents. And yeah, this has always been the core thesis with Anoma, and sort of over time this has morphed into this into an operating system abstraction, let's say this way. which is, I think everyone else tried the model of like, oh, let me just build a faster version of Ethereum. Like, let's look at Monad. Monad's like, oh, I'm a fast Ethereum. Yeah, but you fundamentally do exactly the same thing that Ethereum does, but like in a weird model and slightly faster.
Speed. Yeah. That's been the theme for the past 2 years. Speed.
Man, speed. I can give you speed. I can just put Anoma on a single server and it will be as fast as Solana. It doesn't matter. Like the moment you're willing to trade off on like the security properties of it, speed is not a problem. And like generally speaking, all these systems went just like, oh, we'll just solve speed by being on a single server. Like look at Mega.
There'll always be trade-offs.
Yeah. And so Anoma is very configurable. Like you can deploy Anoma in whatever configuration you want. Like you can make it as decentralized as Bitcoin, as fast as Solana. Honestly, this is up to the user. It's an operating system, and you can think of it as like Windows 95. Like you can put Anoma and deploy it on Ethereum. You can put Anoma and deploy it on Solana. You can put Anoma and deploy it on your sovereign chain. I don't care. It's just like it's a very good abstraction to give users very configurable privacy guarantees, very configurable topology guarantees. It's much more flexible from an application builder perspective, and you just get inbuilt privacy along the way. Something which, like you get programmable privacy, fully programmable privacy using the Anoma resource machine. Now Anoma is live on Ethereum base on a bunch of EVM chains. We have a Solana protocol adapter in the works that should hopefully go live soon as well. And here you can just start cooking now. And I mean, one of the first applications that we've built is actually Anoma Pay, which we can maybe talk about in a sec.
Yeah. Like I want to go into that, but like, where does the name come from? It's actually quite original, I would say.
I made it up. That's it. I was sitting in a restaurant at some point. I was like just going through, I think it was like Indian rivers. I was looking for some inspiration, and at some point I just came out like there's like this long list on an old GitHub repo where we probably looked at like 200 or 300 names.
Wow!
And we were like, okay, it needs to be like easy to spell. Yeah. Like, can Chinese people pronounce it? Yes. Can Spanish speakers pronounce it? Yeah. And so over time we settled on Anoma because and then we went around and we're like, okay, like we just went up to random people and was like, Anoma, how do you spell it? And these people always ask you and go like, oh, wait, could you repeat this? And like, no, just like what you just heard, how would you spell it? And without a flaw. Like you can just spell Anoma once you did.
There's a lot more thought that went into that. That's interesting. Okay, wait. So taking a step back, if I'm a normie, I think you explained it like very well in terms of like Anoma can be deployed into these like various chains and so on. But if I'm a normie, like how would you explain it in like a couple sentences? Like if I'm just like, oh, I was onboarded in the past 18 months by some meme coins. Like, is this an L1? Is this an N1? Is that even a term? Like, how should I see this? Yeah.
It's a self-sovereign community. Like the easiest way to think of it is it's an L1. It's what people sort of historically think of it as probably the closest thing. But if you reason outside of like blockchain analogies, it's Windows 95. It's like you buy Windows 95 because you want to have Word run on Windows 95, and you don't care whether there's Intel CPU or an AMD CPU under the hood. Like you just go, I have Windows, all my applications work on Windows.
The operating
and Anoma
system
is Windows.
Yeah.
Like it works wherever you want to be.
Got it. Cool. Okay. So I wanted to understand a bit more because, like candidly, I'm not a software engineer. So right now, like I guess, are you like if a new chain, like whether it's an L1 or an L2, if they like integrated Anoma, what kind of benefits do they have? Like, is it is it a mix of like privacy and like speed, or how should they think about like the gas costs and so and like all of that?
Yeah. So, hey, Lumbro.
Sorry, I'm late.
I think there are many benefits, but I'll focus, I think, on what I would consider the two main benefits. One of them is you get fully recursive ZKPs, i.e. you get full function as well as data privacy, in a way that you can program against it. And it's reasonably fast. So as an application developer, you can build privacy-preserving applications if you want. And as a user, you just can use privacy-preserving applications here at scale. I mean, like you can look at Anoma Pay, which is one of the first applications built on Anoma that is actually starting to come into production now. And it just gives you like whichever EVM chain you want to be on. It just gives you very good privacy guarantees for arbitrary asset transfers. It works with NFTs. It works with arbitrary tokens. And you can, like, we can now scale this out where this, like, wherever Anoma has deployed the operating system, you can just also deploy the application. And then I think the second longer term thing is it's the interoperability abstraction, where it's like, it's the operating system, it's a distributed operating system. So like you have an outpost on your phone, outpost on your laptop, you have an outpost on Ethereum, you have some data on Ethereum, but some data only locally. And rather than having to like keep all the state in your head on like, oh, I have this asset over here and that asset over there, like you can just configure your account once, go like, oh, automatically rebalance every month, sweep all my assets back to my main chain. And this is what Anoma allows you in the long term. But in the short term, it's a lot about like you get like very good UI standardization. The same application works across any chain that Anoma is deployed on. And like you can use Anoma with whichever chain with whichever assets you want.
Got it. Okay. I think I'm mostly okay. So I get the value add. I think like privacy is the most obvious one, as you like correctly said. So like the space needs like CK proof. It's been something that's been like working on for quite some time. But like, what's your take on the broader, I guess, like rising trend in like privacy, right? Because it's been a thing before and then it sort of like died down. I feel like now you've seen like a rise again, but is it really there? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. If this is
I'm
the
gonna
global...
jump in real quick.
Yeah,
Marco, are you asking him about like privacy coins or privacy narrative? Or like which part are you asking him?
Well, like
I don't think
price
there's
kind
a
of
lot of
leads
privacy
narrative in
paid
crypto, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Privacy coins is such a like it's a thing that like the regulators made up to like go, oh, there's a privacy coin and there's a non-privacy coin. But God, the realistic answer is Ethereum is a privacy coin because you can deploy arbitrary smart contracts to Ethereum. And like any token on Ethereum is a privacy token by their definition. Because you can use it. Like there's nothing that's like specifically special on a privacy token. Like it doesn't describe a core functionality. I think it's going to come down to like, will people start using crypto for like payments at scale? If it's only meme coins, it probably doesn't matter. If like at some point my parents are supposed to like pay the like pharmacist using crypto technology, then they will require privacy because I don't think they want their neighbors to see like whether they just bought some painkillers or not, right?
Yeah, I'll if you don't mind, like I'll ask the question that I'm sure like 90% of like people have in their mind about this. The reason that like privacy coin, I guess, like was sort of like banned and like that term was happened, like whether it's just like talking points was because of XYZ that like the regulators are saying. But let's assume that like more and more like privacy like implementation is now being adopted by like all of these like crypto cards and payments and so on. Like, is it something that you can like reverse engineer if you really need to? If not, like, what's your take on this? I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so I think my personal take is we have to do a very good job at the sort of edges of the system, i.e. when you go into a privacy-preserving system and when you go out. It is very difficult to engineer a system in which, like, you give the Chinese the viewing key or the Americans the viewing key. Like, because, like, to some extent, like, you have to pick. You can either give everyone the viewing key and, like, you give every regulator in the world the viewing key, or the other option is, like, there's, like, an independent, like, American pool and an incoming Chinese pool. It's going to be very difficult to make this work in practice. And I think everyone that pretends that this problem doesn't exist, like anyone that just says, oh, yeah, we have a way to sort of reveal a bunch of addresses on requests, it's like, it's very difficult to make this work in practice because you go like, I don't know, are the Americans really going to be all that happy, like, if the requests come from abroad, right? And so, I mean, to be clear, like, I can totally see that systems will just evolve, like, that look like our financial systems now, which is, we just have, like, 180 different financial systems. That works, too. And actually, Anoma is quite well suited for this because you can have 180 different deployments of Anoma and different security models with different configuration flags. So it's very compatible with this model. Whether we as crypto should advocate for it, I don't know. I'm less convinced by that.
Got it. Or your take, Lambro. I'm just putting him on the spot.
Okay. I just want to see when can I bet it. To be honest, from a coin point of view. Like Adrian, actually, let's be real. I'm gonna ask you some questions about privacy tech and privacy speculation. I feel like for privacy tech to work, we're probably not gonna get it in the next year or so, because for privacy tech to work, it has to be semi-compliant for it to work long term. I'm not sure. What do you think about this statement?
So I agree with this. This is actually what I'm advocating for, essentially sovereign security models, because like you can have like the Swiss security zone with the Swiss compliance rules. This is honestly the easiest way to make it work, which I'm quite in big favor of. By the way, I'm going to push back. I think this tech it's working really well nowadays. The privacy tech. I don't think it's going to take another couple of years.
Really?
Actually, I can give you my really hot take on this. I think the financial system is going to collapse, essentially. Because, like, so one of the big problems is every year, like, so I had this interesting... I had this interesting experience where my parents, like, tried to wire me some funds to Switzerland, and, like, the bank, like, the German bank or whatever flagged it. And I was like, okay, like, they're not great customers. Like, that one compliance flag probably erased 5 to 10 years of like bank profit for that customer relationship. And like every year we just add more and more rules on like what banks should look out for, right? And so at some point, no customer is worth it, because like every customer, they're like, oh, you buy Bitcoin, flag. Like a single compliance flag is 10 hours of work at the bank. That's like $1,000 worth of like, I don't know. I don't think you guys, like, I haven't created $1,000 worth of revenue for the bank. So at some point for them, it's just like the realistic choice, just offboard me, right? And so to some extent, crypto is inevitable, because even normies are going to get debanked. I don't know what you should buy. Maybe buy land, probably. Land is actually scarce.
Not the NFT.
I agree. Yeah. But I think, okay, from tech point of view, from tech point of view, metaverse. From tech point of view, yes, I agree that we're probably not too far from it, but from getting the regulator and compliance point of view, it's the hard part. It takes longer.
I think so too. But I also think there's, like, the world is becoming, like, the last 70 years or so, where, like, Pax Americana, everything is secured by the American military, and this has worked very well, actually. Like, the US dollar system is stable, right? But what you now see is that, like, this is starting to dissolve. And so one of the big problems is then, like, the financial system is going to like bifurcate a lot. And so I think we're going to see a lot more experimentations at a local scale, where like you just need alternatives, because like the existing systems are falling apart, and there's currently one good answer, and it's called crypto. So I'm a lot less like skeptical or pessimistic on the adoption here, because I think people will just be forced into it. Like, they just won't have a choice. Their local infrastructure is going to collapse around them. And governments are going to look like, for example, take Switzerland. Switzerland is never going to withstand a like dedicated nation-state attack on its financial system. So they need alternatives. They need something that's decentralized, like not that's decentralized from like a sort of global decentralization, but they need something that's distributed, and i.e. a hardened distributed system. And actually, cryptography and the technology that we've in the space been building is very valid for this. It's like, it's a great use case. Like, your existing financial system is very difficult to secure. If you can set up, I don't know, 26 different nodes in a distributed system to like run your country's ledger, that's a good idea. So I'm much more bullish on the tech. Essentially, I'm bullish for the wrong reasons. I'm bullish because I think the world is going to shit.
Okay.
And so, that's like, I was thinking about the Roman civilization, and I read this somewhere the other day. I was like, you know, we think of the fall of Rome as like the singular event. Like, all of a sudden, like one morning, everyone in Rome woke up and was like, oh, damn it, Rome collapsed. It wasn't that. It was just like one morning. They were like, oh, the bridge collapsed. And then a year later, no one had come to fix it yet. That's the fall of Rome. And like, that's what we're going through right now. But I think now we actually have the tools to like build a bunch of the infrastructure ourselves in local communities that care about it.
Okay, let's say I know zero about privacy coins and privacy or whatever, tech, whatever. If I'm a normie right now and and I see this cool red-haired guy, sounds very legit. Where should I start reading or learning to understand this?
So if you're a normie, just go to anomapay.app. It's cool. If you're a normie, private payments made easy. There you go. And if you then want to dive deeper, go from there.
Okay. All right. As a privacy hardcore guy, how do you keep your privacy on chain right now?
Actually, I use Anoma. Yeah. Are you like, so one of the biggest problems is like you need a bunch of fresh wallets from time to time. And so like historically, I just use exchanges for this because it like works reasonably well. And nowadays, I just do most of this on chain using Anoma Pay. I mean, to be clear, this is currently in private beta. Hopefully, this is coming out of private beta in the next couple of weeks. So that like, if you want an invite code, like let me know. I can send one over.
Okay. How about this? Let's get into it. Like, you're about to launch it. Like tell me how's the process? Why are you guys doing this, etc. Show me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very simple. It's like the thing that I want so I can like do on-chain transactions. Because the problem is, it's very difficult to just go, like, I was telling Marco before, like, how I got into crypto by like sending people, they bought me beer at uni and I sent them some ETH in like 2017 with Trust Wallet. And that doesn't work anymore because essentially the problem is now it's like, oh, I send you some ETH and then you go like, oh, I wonder what he did. And then like you start diving through all the history again. And like, this is essentially what I don't want.
All these Zach XBT wannabe.
I did this with EtherFi, and I told you last time when we tried to do the recording, the live stream, that like, if you send me like your deposit address for EtherFi, I just like can ping you every time you swipe your card. And go like, oh, what did you just buy for $15?
Bro, this is live. Can you not talk about my EtherFi record? Like,
oh yeah, true. Oh, I remember. Actually, I wonder if I can find your address again. You sent it to me somewhere.
Please don't. I'm sorry. I used it to board some Pornhub like subscription service for a year.
Well, so anyway, in the future, just use Anoma Pay. Like, top up your EtherFi account from Anoma Pay, and you'll be fine.
Yes. Please don't expose my address. I promise I'll use.
I'm not gonna sound like because like Lambro always makes fun that I'm like the suits, like the talking points. But like one thing that I'm in between like both of you with regards to like the adoption is only because crypto cards adoption has been insane in the past 6 months. Like the charts like this. That's the only reason why I would kind of agree with Adrian on the private. Like if that chart wasn't there, I would be more on Lambro's side. But like yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's very clear, like, normal people are coming because, God, I don't know, if you've done a wire transfer lately, do a wire transfer and then the bank goes, like, oh, let me call you back. You have to confirm your information. Oh, also, it's not there yet 3 days later. And you're like, oh, where is it? Or like, oh, we don't know. Sometimes it takes a week or two. And you're like, what the fuck?
If you are a fund service provider that's serving a crypto fund, you better accept stablecoin. But anyway, sorry, that's a different podcast. But anyway.
So let's talk about the realistic use case of your app when it comes to live. All right, I'm not even gonna lie. I missed the first part of the interview, and I'm low key tipsy right now. So, okay. So, if I were to use it right now, what are the top use cases? So I can send money from my centralized exchange to it, use the protocol to send, let's say, 10 different addresses, and it'll cover it up, or how does that work? Like what
so
kind of
use
case
like,
can I do?
So it's Zcash. You can send it. You can send arbitrary denominations to arbitrary people. They can send you the address. You can send it to them. You can pick which kind of asset. Like the huge difference to Zcash is you can pick arbitrary assets. So like currently we've only enabled, I think, USDC and wrapped ETH, but theoretically you can use arbitrary assets with it. And I think we're just going to start rolling out more and more assets. The other nice thing is like it's currently live on Base, just because it's easy to deploy there. But it can come to any EVM chain. We work on a Solana protocol adapter, so it can also come to Solana. If there's a huge demand on other systems, building a protocol adapter, I think that the verification circuit doesn't take a lot of time, so like it's just very flexible. Like it comes to where you want to be. So if you give me a place you want to use it, let me know, and like we can think about how quickly we can implement it.
So let's say I have a friend. I have a friend that wants to do a airdrop farming, but he's worried about that he'll get tagged as Sybil. Can he send money to his friend's account through your product and then send it to 10 more of his friend's account and then to cover up the track and start farming?
Let me say it this way.
Come on.
Like, yeah, like your friend, whether airdrop farming is going to be all this profitable, I think the meta has moved past you at this point, but theoretically this totally works, yeah.
Okay. All right, so what about the fees? How
fees are currently 0. I mean, we may changes in the future, but it's 0 for now.
Okay. So to my friends, I just want to say you can send to your friend and send to your 100 friends in case you want to, if you don't want to get tagged at a 0 fees, bro.
I know he's joking, but like this is probably like one like legitimate use case in the next 2 months. But
bro, you know people use
like
super
short
people
term,
used to buy KYC from OKX just because the dispersed address can be done over 100 address instead of like you can spread the dispersed address so it doesn't look like it's from one address.
Yeah, I have to admit, the airdrop farming meta is a meta that completely went past me. I was like, yield farming. Like yield farming, I was so skeptical already on, and the airdrop thing, just like, oh my god, what are we doing?
Don't get me wrong. One can only hope, so. That's true. As long as and there's going to be 1 and 2 that works every cycle, right? And please give me one more. Give my friend one more. I mean,
yeah,
it's the barbell strategy. I mean,
at this point, we're all just like sitting on Twitter and going like, oh god, I hope we get one more cycle.
I swear. Okay. Where do you see this industry going in the next 5 to 10 years, actually?
I'm bullish. I mean, like, I'm bearish geopolitics. I think the world is going to get absolutely cooked. Like, it's just not a stable environment anymore. Everyone does crazy shit everywhere. No one, 20 years ago, we at least tried to maintain a decorum of like, oh, it's totally okay, and like, we're all in this together, and like, it totally works. And now just everyone goes like, yeah, fuck this, I'm out of here kind of thing. Who cares what happens in 5 years from now? So like, I'm very bearish geopolitics, which is so bullish crypto. I mean, it's like not super bullish on human happiness. I think most humans would just prefer the existing system to continue. But it's very bullish crypto. It's like we've built this, like we were these crazy cypherpunks. They're like, oh yeah, the US dollar is going to collapse. And like, holy fuck. I mean, we were slightly early, but it's kind of true, coming true now. And so like, as the sort of existing systems go down, I think crypto will just replace more and more of it. And like this, the fact that it's permissionless actually really matters. Because you won't find, like, 20 years ago, you could find a guy that gave you permission. In 5 years, like, the guy may not be there anymore because like he went like, this seems like a lot of work, I'll just go home and drink beer. So I'm very bullish on the industry. You know, whether I'm bullish on meme coins specific, I don't know. It's probably like, I don't know, hyper gambling is fun. But the one big recommendation I would have for everyone, run your own local infrastructure, get into radio and like just amateur radio and like learn how to set up local area mesh nets and shit like this. The world is becoming less stable.
Sorry, I did not understand that. Can you share a little bit more? I did not understand that.
So everything is kind of like, for example, like when you tap your Visa card from EtherFi somewhere, it's all reliant on like having some fiber cable to some server in the US available, essentially, to like verify that transaction and execute it. And the entire point I'm making is like the world is becoming less stable. Like the idea that you can rely on global connectivity all the time is very unlikely to exist, like to keep existing for the next 5-10 years. So like local area networking, radio mesh networking is all about like you and your like 5 friends get together to like keep the comms infrastructure up for your town of, I don't know, 30,000 people. And I have a fun example. So I live in Zug, Switzerland, right? And there's an amateur radio club. It's a bunch of like 60, 70-year-old dudes who like sit in their basement with like radios and talk to people in Australia. It's a fun hobby.
Huh. Okay.
But they, at some point, reached an agreement with the city of Zug that in the case of a national emergency, they would drive up with their cars to the local mountaintops and establish backup comms for the local government using amateur radio. And like this, that's the kind of stuff that's cool. Also, like, I don't know, learn how to shoot. I'm also a huge proponent of that.
Man, dude, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, like, this is cool. Like, yeah, what you said it just reminds me of like Stranger Things. But okay, like if you wanna even like take a step of that's like more like implementable. Yeah, like I do agree. Like you should learn to like, I mean, like your own like local AI and like at least start there. I know it's a bit more like digital still, but
Yeah, I mean,
anyway,
it's very doable. Like,
yeah.
Get a VPS. Like, it's not hard anymore. Like, and I'm not saying that you have to like read the docs. No one reads the docs anymore. Just ask Claude. Ask Claude to set you up your local AI. Claude is very willing to do it. That's what I'm doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Like, I actually think this makes more sense than setting up your like. Now that you say it, like setting your own radio makes more sense than if you believe the world's going to end. That's actually very important.
Maybe my point is not so much like, oh, like specific radio, but more like, man, it's never been easier to do cool shit. Like whatever cool shit you want to do, just like ask Claude, ask Codex, like dial back a little bit the porn thing and like dial up a little bit the radio thing kind of thing.
I feel like that's a personal advice to me.
You sound a Pornhub subscription.
Oh my god.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us?
What do you
Please.
think? Where's crypto heading?
Okay, Lambro, I'll start first with the boring stuff. So like I can help shill, but it's actually also how I feel, and then I'll throw it to you to like do all the crazy forecasting. But I do think like there's the the things that you're doing with like privacy and like all of that, like I think it's like a pretty barbell, because for payments for farmers, like Lambro said, and then like I mostly dealt like on the yield side of crypto, and then like obviously like there's no way that in the future like all of TradFi would bring all of that purely on chain in a transparent way. There's no way that like Apollo would sell their like tokenized private credit to like Franklin and like you can see all of that transaction, which assets, like that would never happen, right? So like I can see like from a B2B, B2C, and even barbell like farming that there's like a use case for that. So like I think you're capturing the right momentum there. How I see the space, basically for the next 5 years, only long Bitcoin and long yield, except for that's price wise. For the cool tech stuff, I will defer to people like you, Adrian.
For me, I think there's a few things, right? So the first thing is token structurally, we are still going lower in terms of altcoins. This feels like 2022. Right before FTX, right after Luna, right before FTX, because like people are still giving me pitch tag for like 15 mil, 20 mil FDV, like seed round, like brother, that does not work anymore. So like structurally, right, people still think they can raise. And to be honest, there has basically no true innovation in tokenomics or crypto tech since 2023, but it pumped because of the initial sell pressure or distribution, no matter how you want to say it, right? So I think like we're gonna have to be watched for another 6 to 12 months in terms of altcoin, that unless one really cool tech somehow can do like a hyper liquid way where it does not have any something initial holder or whatever, so that's why we can do a very weird pump. Other than that, we're gonna have to wait 6 to 9 months for an out, and then the narrative is likely gonna rely on let's say some new version of AI, robotic, or privacy. Maybe something to do with like real asset, but like to be honest, right now no one can tell, and I don't think we can see it. And then
I can see the AI privacy crap, and this is very likely where like most of the growth is going to come from.
I can see that, but the problem is right now most AI needs to fundraise, and I still believe that the tech can be really cool, but the token cannot support it in that sense, just because like as a token speculation point of view, there's not enough buy pressure. Like the tech can improve, the whatever can improve, but the token structure doesn't work. People will continue to PvP from meme coin or perk sector in low cap. And I am going to be unhappy for the next year or so.
Come on,
bro. And suddenly there's going to be a turning point. It's going to be something like last year where everyone thinks there's a Bitcoin ETF coming, and you'll be like, oh yeah, we know that's coming, and no one actually know what to bet. They thought it's going to be Bitcoin DeFi, Bitcoin L2, but end up it's Bitcoin NFT that somehow capture the value because of the token structure. It's going to be some trash like that, and then you're going to make some money there. I think that's going to be the end of cycle. I think a few real L1 or L2 will, because of the treasury and because they were willing to grind, they will somehow be able to tag on the next train somehow, and there's going to be a big comeback play. No matter it's like Sui's like crime structure plus some bullshit use case, or it's going to be like Solana finding like pump funds narrative, and after that, but narrative wise, we don't know. We need to look for token distribution structure. Secondly, we're going to look for teams that has treasury, which right now it's all going to be L2 because they have the biggest treasuries, and you need to look out for what teams that are willing to pivot and are they willing to tag on new things. And last thing, I hope centralized exchange will be more distributed later on as is easier to list things, because right now one centralized controls everything, and this is unhealthy for most alts because of the tax is too high.
Listing fee is crime, but yeah. Yeah. But
yeah, that's my view. That's why I'm so bearish. Do you want to hire some McDonald's cooker? I cook a very...
I don't know. Yeah. Let me give you the ray of hope. When everyone feels absolutely cooked, is genuine we've bottomed.
Exactly. Yeah. And I will I will recap what like Clambro said, but like basically the best alpha until you see a switch in the market is just to build. It's been easiest to build with what you said, like Adrian, you know, like that's why you see so many things like incubated, not even by founders, but by funds or something. But it's been so easy to build.
Like, God, I mean, like, Lamro, you weren't there, but like when I joined crypto, like everyone just like started like we all installed Ethereum full nodes. Like there wasn't someone that just like tried to like just use the wallet. Everyone like, I taught a bunch of people how to like write smart contracts back in the early days. And just like, I don't know, it's way more fun just getting to like hack a little bit. And honestly, hacking on this shit has gotten so much easier with Claude. Just ask Claude to do it and like explore the thing.
Is it Lambro's arc to become a software engineer? But anyway, all right. I think we.
I'd love to use that software.
I think we are about towards the end of the session. I just wanted to give you space, Adrian, if there's anything else that you want to share with our listeners. Lambro's group chat has a lot of power users and so on.
Yeah. If you need invite codes to Anoma Pay, let me know. Keep abreast there. And God, let's not all be depressed. This industry is so fun. Build cool shit. Use it. It's great. Honestly, we should look very all our wildest dreams came true.
We're liquidated in the weekend, so brother, I cannot join you on this train yet.
Oh my God!
And maybe don't use leverage. Actually, this is the fundamental problem. Don't use perps. Buy spot.
Hey, I'm just farming points, okay?
This is oh my God.
Okay. Last question we ask every guest.
Yeah.
What do you think is required to make it in crypto?
An unreasonable amount of energy to try things. That's it. Like, if you... And I mean, I used FOMO. And like, I learned once again that I suck at trading. I used FOMO. I followed people. I lost 95% now. As it goes, apparently. But like, you just gotta keep trying things. Do interesting things. Like, honestly, life has never been more fascinating. Just like, try cool shit. This is my answer for like...
That's going to be short. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we are at the end of this live. Again, we will share the invite codes to Anoma Pay, and it's in beta right now. But I'm sure it would be useful for like a lot of like the watchers and the people in the group chat. So yeah, I think that is it, and we'll see you next time.
Cool.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Adrian. Ciao. I'm going to stop it.